Morning. My name is Aqeela Sherrills, A-Q-E-E-L-A, last name S-H-E-R-R-I-L-L-S. I've spent the last 25 years as an organizer activist out of Watts in South LA, and been really fortunate to travel around the country and around the world to different war zones, just sharing with communities how to create and sustain peace in urban war zones. Today it's a really humbling experience to have the community to call for my appointment to the LA Police Commission. It's critical, especially at this particular time in the history of what's happening in the city of Los Angeles, that we have an objective voice on the LA Police Commission board, because black and brown folks being murdered with impunity in the city of Los Angeles, it's just unacceptable.
That's right.
And the response of our LA Police Commission has been minimal. 15 murders this year already. And the response has been minimal. Now, many of us all, belong to a club that we don't like to be a part of. As my brother said, 10 years ago, my oldest son was murdered in the streets. And the response, because I expressed compassion for the young man who murdered my son, and I didn't condone what he did, but I expressed compassion. I had no follow-up, no follow-through, and to this day, my son's case is a cold case. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. My belief is that we have to redefine public safety.
Yes.
Far too often, when we hear public safety, we hear law enforcement and police right behind us.
Not for black folks.
And we have to change that narrative. Because we have to put people, citizens, community, as the first responders in any public safety strategy. We have to put healing individuals and healing community at the forefront of any violence intervention, prevention, or reduction strategies. And those individuals, to me, gang interventionists, crisis interventionists, these folks have to work on par, hand in hand with law enforcement in the city. There's no big I's and little U's in that relationship. Because we still call the police and they respond. 80% of officers in the city of Los Angeles don't live in the communities in which they serve. So we're calling folks and asking them to parachute in to provide us with some protection, and in most cases, we don't get it. So we have to shift that strategy. And to me, interventionists are very well prepared. Look, we're talking about 20 consecutive years, or 10 consecutive years in a row of decreases in violent crime and murder in the city. And LAPD credits community-based gang intervention and crisis interventionists with helping to sustain that low. However, where is the strategic investment? Community-based intervention gets about $5 million a year. Now, we applaud the mayor for expanding community-based intervention, but we criticize them because they're not going deep enough. Folks are making less money and putting their lives on the line every single day. They're making less money today than they were yesterday. And in a 10-year period, we're talking about gang intervention has gotten no increase in resource, but LAPD went from $1 billion to $2.5 billion over the past 10 years. There's something wrong with that strategy. And we're not saying we don't need police. We need police, but we need police to be healed. We need police to get counseling and therapy. We need police to get the proper type of habilitation services that they need so that they can function properly out here in the culture to be able to provide a service to the people. This needs to be public. It needs to be public information. We got 2 cops who killed Aqeela Sherrills, who have been reassigned. And we don't know whether they got counseling, therapy, nothing. But these individuals are right back out on the street and could potentially harm someone else. So I take issue with the city. I take issue with the mayor, because I'm like, at some point, we have to provide more strategic training for law enforcement. We have to make sure that they get the proper counseling and therapy and resources they need in order to become more balanced in their roles in community. And they got to stop killing black and brown folks. Period.
That's it.
So I'll close with this. On September the 9th, so currently I serve as the public safety advisor for the city of Newark, New Jersey. I travel back and forth to LA to Newark because, Newark is a microcosm of what's happening all across the country. We have a mayor there that is a champion for public safety and for community-based solutions and community-based intervention. So we're launching a major conference September the 9th in Newark, and we're planning to go to 15 major cities across the country, the most violent cities in the U.S., with the bottoms-up strategy to address the high level of black-on-black violence, which, we can unpack that whole narrative later, but also to address the high levels of police misconduct and brutality. Because to me, these things are intrinsically linked. They're intrinsically linked. And we know that when we decrease violence and crime in our communities, it changes the public safety landscape in the city. Whereas we start elevating the voices of those residents and those community folks who are on the front line providing those services, and then we can put law enforcement in their proper role to protect and serve. I think that we're putting a little bit too much on our PD, and it's now time that we really make a strategic investment in community and people being able to solve their own problems in partnership with the city. Thank you.